Hey, how's it going? I'm making a quick video on an issue that I have started noticing just today because I've come back to the editor within Ylands. The issue that I've come across with the editor in Ylands is that the terrain tool cannot be used underwater. Now, before, the terrain tool used to generate land or remove land in like giant masses, I believe it was, right? Like giant spherical or square shaped masses. It was recently updated a few months ago because that's obviously really difficult to work with, and the smoothing tool also wasn't good at the time. So there are a lot of issues uh, that would arise from using the terrain tools in that fashion. So the terrain tools got updated, which are great. They work phenomenal, except for underwater. So before, like I said, you added, like in terrain and giant spherical and square. I don't need to explain. I think most people who've edited on here know that. Um, Now it doesn't do it at all. So I'm clicking currently. I'm not getting any sort of remove, which isn't a big deal, but you can't even add. So there's no adding terrain underwater. I don't know if this was deliberate, if it's just part of the way the new tool is, if it hasn't been programmed to do that yet or coded or whatever. I'm not a game developer. I'm just putting the issue out there. I know one person posted in the forums about it. I can't remember exactly what it was come out of that. I think it had something to do with the new water updates coming out and it'll fix that or something like that. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't know if this is supposed to be a bug or what, but you can't do it at all. So before I was developing a map back in late December till in January, a little bit in March, things like that. And before I had islands, and I had an additional mountain that kind of stuck out from the island that I randomly generated, just one big island, and I would basically just plop the giant spheres and dirt underneath the extension of the landmass, so at least it looked somewhat realistic. But it doesn't at all now. You can't even put anything underneath. So if you create any sort of landmass or anything, you cannot manipulate anything underwater. And that's what I've noticed. You can't add even from underneath, any of that kind of stuff. It does not work. Stamping does this. This is how I create the island, was through stamp. And the stamp tool is kind of cool. I do like it, but um, you can't build underwater. And before, I know in the forums it was mentioned that you could just remove the visibility, but that's just visibility. That obviously doesn't do anything. You do notice there's change though. And what I think the change is I've noticed that the water in the game doesn't connect with the edges. So the water doesn't connect directly here, right? Like if you go to the shoreline, I think we've always noticed that the water doesn't connect directly. Water back up. The water kind of floats and hovers really close to the edge. So I think that's why it's given that effect, is because the water isn't technically touching the ridges that are beneath the surface. So it just kind of gives the illusion that it's working somewhat, but it's not, obviously. I mean, once you add, it's not going to do it anymore. It's officially connected to the water, I assume, whatever the case may be. You get some sort of effect, but it's not actually adding any land. It would be add or remove. Flattening tool isn't going to do anything. Smoothing does nothing. So I don't know if this was programmed into the game or whatever, but it makes it kind of difficult to build extensions of land masses, whether that be islands or mountains or, I mean, any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of like at a standstill right now with editing my map because of this, because I don't want to even bother with it until I know it's fixed. It's just a little bit of a bummer to kind of deal with that, because one of the main aspects that I enjoy a lot is the terrain tool and modifying the terrain within the open worlds that I've been trying to create. But yeah, I don't know if this is someone can give me assistance on this, or if this is me doing something incorrect, or if this is a bug, or if it's programmed that way and I gotta deal with it. I don't know. I'm just hoping someone can give me some proper info and guidance.